Hello, my fellow Druid players in Diablo 4. The Season 6 PTR is starting tomorrow, and we got a few theory crafting ideas for the Grizzly Rage Shred build. And for today's video, we're going to cover the first build we're going to try and test and theory craft, which is going to be built around the Grizzly Rage Poison Shred build. So let's discuss. So this build is actually going to be heavily focused around the new aspect we're getting, Aspect of the Rabid Bear. While Grizzly Rage is active, skills that critically strike apply rabies, and your poison damage is increased by 30 to 90% multiplicative. So, the goal here with this aspect is we are going to utilize as much attack speed as we can, as well as the Waxing Gibbous and Shred to get as many quick attacks off as possible so we can apply rabies quickly, fastly, and stacking poison damage as fast as we can onto our enemies and groups of enemies. So basically with the Waxing Gibbous, we're going to use Blood Howl to keep our crit strike up against bosses, and then just killing monsters when we're fighting regular monsters will keep the crit strike at 100%. So it will be spreading rabies like crazy and constantly on targets, constantly applying new and more poison to the enemies, as well as Toxic Claw. Though Toxic Claw is still quite weak from my understanding, but maybe it'll be better in the PTR. There is no change notes for it, so we'll see how that interacts with the poison from the new aspect. We are also getting a few other handy buffs. Using the Dark Howl aspect to change the Debilitating Roar into a werewolf move, when we choose the innate Debilitating Roar now, we will actually now get a 15% multiplicative damage increase, which is going to help with increasing the damage when applying rabies through our critical strikes while in a Grizzly Rage. We're also getting some access to new passive skills to increase our damage further, such as Feral Aptitude, which will increase our damage dealt by 3% while healthy, as well as an additional 3% while our movement speed's above 100%. And the do stack, so you'll get a double bonus, which should be, in theory, 18% multiplicative if you have both online. We'll also get Backlash, which is going to increase our damage further after casting a defensive spell for 4 seconds. Now, there is Calamity, which also increases the damage you do 8 seconds after casting your ultimate. The only way I see this actually going to be good for the Grizzly Rage Poison Shred Druid is if they make it so while Grizzly Rage is active, the cooldown is active, so you can reapply this 8-second buff. But until then, I can't recommend using Calamity because the goal of the build is to keep Grizzly Rage up as long as possible. For our key passive, we're going to test out the Lupine Ferocity to see if it actually applies to our rabies that we're going to be spreading through our critical strikes while in Grizzly Rage. If Lupine's Ferocity is not working as intended, we will just switch to using the Beastal Rampage for the flat 20% attack speed increase while in werewolf form, since we'll be only using werewolf skills. And to improve the damage on Shred, this is also going to affect other Shred builds or going to theory craft that use Grizzly Rage. We need to see if they have addressed the issue with the Rampaging Werebeast aspect, which states that we should get up to a 200% multiplicative crit damage multiplier for each crit we get up to 200%. So you gain 10% crit damage multiplicatively each time you crit up to 200%. At this time, through what I've been reading on other people's testings, this is currently additive. I don't know if this is a bug or the way they intended it. So hopefully they updated the text to show if it's additive, and if it's multiplicative, they've fixed the bug so it is properly adding that 200% multiplicative damage, so our Shred can get the most out of that. But getting the duration increase for the Grizzly Rage with this is more than sufficient for what we need it for in this build, since we'll be focusing on the rabies damage, which really doesn't require crit damage, but it would be nice to have an additional source of just flat damage from our Shred, so long as the critical damage multiplier in the Rampaging Werebeast works as intended. So this is just a high-level look at what we're going to test first in the PTR. We will make a full comprehensive build guide once we actually get into the PTR and get to the point that we're comfortable with. So stay tuned for that and catch us live tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern when we go live into the PTR. So catch you tomorrow and look forward to seeing some more shred action. Catch you there.
The beast lives within you.